that thing. Nobody try stress me, I know be JJC. I don't know if you get it on the operating. I feel it.
Time to get going, y'all. I'm running late. Still gonna get this workout in though. Let's go.
You see the mullah we don't spray out. Cause every man don't pay out. Oh, man, getting out till I fade out. You know from my way out. Anytime we stay back. You know them outside, you know they out. You know they're the first, you know they out. When you see the mullah we don't spray out. Cause every man don't pay out. Oh, so I fear nothing. Steady increase in come on. Original no be parody. You know be clear for your memory. But then I'm but I don't start now. Living life, in my life, turning right. In days, for the way everything inside my mind.
Chop, chop, baby, chop, chop. Stretch those calves a little bit. See, I'm not a little guy, so I got little calves. So big man and little calves. So they get a little tired sometimes. Alexa, volume 5. Chop chop, baby. It's all right. We gotta live stream this workout, man. Regardless. All right, let's try that hook jab. It works better when I'm going to my left. You try to do it going to the right. Not so much. It's something I did. I guess I gotta get used to it. See, going to the right, I should be dropping the right hand. A lot easier. Oh man. I forgot I had this in my ear. Wow. I worked out with that plug in my ear, man. That's why things were sounding muffled. Wow. That's a first. Pants falling off. You know what? Y'all ain't gonna believe this. I slid them joints on. Came right out here.
I went through hell just to get to this day. I live my life and I live in my way. You're by my side, but I live my side, baby. Anything you want, girl, I go pay.
Yeah, my shorts was sliding on.
I go day. I'm so sexy, my only nephew that be real. Next time I'm with a Red Bull, just a play. They got too much to say, but they don't want to say to my face. Too much shots of 1942. I don't want to remember today. Baby girl say she love me for me, but I think that she love me for me. She want to feel so she wide away. Won't break for the color.
Go ahead and run this cardio. How was y'all day today? Slow it down so I can talk to you. Alexa, volume 1. How was y'all's day today? My day started out wet. Y'all know I work outside a lot. In the summer, I'm going to get even darker than this. So, my day was mediocre. And I got to cap my day off with my workout. So, however way it went, I try to have a better day here at the workouts, you know? So, this what you see this is? No power, just consistent punching. That's all. This is cardio, actually. Yeah, we don't need no power right now. This is actually kind of a rough day for me. So, the workout suffers a little bit. But not so much that I'm going to stop, you know. I don't really want to quit on it. So, I'm going to go ahead, let you guys experience the downside. A lot of people don't like to show that part when they're working out. They're always going to show you the upside. I'm not like that. I'm about as real as they're going to get. I'm about as real as they come. Because I'm not going to just give you all upside. You know, when everything's going good, that's what I want to show you. Now I'm going to show you the journey. The journey is my downs and my ups. And let you know that there's no perfect human being walking the face of this earth. There are people who are trying to be, but they are not. And if we are, I don't know, gullible, whatever they present, we would probably go for, because we want to believe that there is a perfect being walking on this earth. Perfect. There is none. So on that note, fam, keep in your mind the reality, stay in the realm of reality, and know that everybody has problems and faults. There is no perfect. There's no perfect nobody. Now we're not gonna go back in the past and talk about, the perfect people that we've been taught to know, right? So let's work on that right cross a little bit. Yeah. Now as I work that right cross, notice this left, white band left hand. Where's it going when I put it out there, right? You have to make it a habit of getting that guard up. I don't give a dad nabbit how you feel. Gotta make a habit of getting that guard up, right? Gotta make it a habit, right? I don't care if you're going to the body, or if you're going to the chest, or if you're going to the top of the head. You try to get that guard up. You don't want to do this with it. A lot of people have a tendency of bringing it down, thinking they're getting more power when they punch. You get just as much, same amount of power if you bring it up instead of down. All right, so not just that, you get to guard your chin in the process. All right, so being that I'm already fatigued, I'm going to go through a couple of steps with you. This is actually good for people to jump on board. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and go through a couple of drills with the right cross, just like I was doing, and showing you the proper way of actually delivering that with your guard up. So, yeah. So, get your little, once you get your little groove going, try to keep your elbows tucked best you can. And if you want to double it up, it'll look like this. All right. You just want to single them. And then move out the way. Slip to the left, slip to the right. For the most part, you want to go ahead and get that cross going. That's why they call it a cross, because you're literally crossing your body at your opponent. So that's why they call it a right cross. So tomorrow I'm going to start with you guys. I went to Big O first. I don't even know how many rounds I put in, but that was the better part of the workout. So you guys are getting the tail end. If you're not familiar with Big O, look it up. BIGO. It's another platform just like this one. But you meet people. You can actually meet people like girls, women, and you can hook up with them. You can talk to them. You can watch the videos and they can watch yours, and you can talk about whatever. And so you can even have a panel. You can have a panel up to have different people talk at the same time, just like TikTok does. And YouTube. I think YouTube does that now, right? So Big O is a place to go. And I would suggest it because I'm on it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, y'all, meet me over at Big O tomorrow. Time, I'm not sure about the time, but just put me on notification. And then if you see the notification pop up when I go live, either here on YouTube or on Big O, just go check it out. Check me out. Let me know who you are so I can follow you back. You know what I mean? And if there's anybody coming over from TikTok, because I'm trying to draw people from TikTok here, because TikTok did me wrong, y'all. I can tell you the story. but TikTok did me all wrong. And I basically have nothing good to say about them. And even though the journey here is going to be even pretty rough because I have to find the way to reach more of audiences that are into working out. And I probably don't have enough subscribers as friends. You know, I need to subscribe to more people, and that is have been somewhat of a hindrance for me here. But I'm gonna actually make time out to do that, so I can actually start tapping in to people who are thinking about good health, and that is my journey right now. So this workout right here. You guys didn't get the best of it, as you can see. I'm really shutting down the workout part, but this is actually workout number 92, I believe. What's today's date? The 3rd. That means it's probably 93. Today is the 93rd workout of the year for me. 93 workout for me this year. And the 93rd day of not eating meat. So I'm slowly coming down on my weight. I noticed that. I'm getting more energy. And life really ain't that much different, man. It's just that I don't eat meat. And I know what I go through when I smell cooking chicken or steak or pizza, or when I smell all that, the craving now has went away. I could smell it and I know it smelled good, but I don't really crave it like I used to, because my body, I was always feeding my body exactly what it was that I craved. Now I don't crave anything. I think I had a taste for ice cream today. That's what it was. I bought some ice cream sandwiches, the little short ones. And anytime I get that little craving, I'll go ahead and eat one of those after I've had a solid meal. And today's meal was like broccoli and noodles. These little noodles with broccoli in the middle of it. Those actually gave me some solid working out, because it's a source of energy, noodles. But I had to come out here and at least burn it too, so I didn't want it to turn into fat or anything. Even though I got enough fat on me. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, so it's all about your mindset. You have to kind of reprogram yourself. And that's what I'm in the process of doing. And with these videos, you guys actually get to watch me go through this little change in mine, or this, reprogramming, because this is exactly what it is. It's a reprogramming of my mind, and I share that with you. And I like to apply a lot of my working regimen to my real life situations. You know what I mean? Because if I can be pretty much dedicated and focused in my workout, I could do the same. I can apply that same energy into the real world. So, I'm gonna tell you about a situation that I have on my job. Ain't really a big one, but it's just something. It's another story. If you guys got time for a little story, I'm gonna give you one right now. This is recent. It's not an old back in the day thing. This is recently. So it's story time. Buckle in. It's not super exciting, but it's something I went through, and I said this is a journey I want you guys to ride with me. And I think I tell pretty much. I know how to describe a story pretty well, I guess, but we'll see. Let's go back. We're gonna go back to last week. Was it last week or the week before? I think this is the second week. Anyway, situation on the JOB. I have run across. I'm a truck driver. All right. Actually, I'm a switcher. So I get to switch after the trailers have been loaded. I bring them from the dock down to the staging area, where the other drivers, the local shuttle drivers, will pick them up and take them on their journey, which is not far. But anyway, my job is the switcher. So I basically control the lot in a sense. So situation was the other week, one of the trailers that I had brought down from being loaded from the shipping area down to the staging area, uh, it had lost a couple of lug nuts. Lug nuts, you say? Yeah, lug nuts popped off. Now, I could simply tell you it was human error. It wasn't just that, they just popped off. No, that particular truck, beyond to me, had a tire change. So you kind of know where I'm headed. Had a tire change, and the knuckleheads did not tighten up the lug nuts. Now, that particular trailer had already made it from wherever destination it came from, made it to our lot. And me as the switcher, I am not to inspect each and every trailer on every part. That is not my position. My position is to get the truck, make sure the lights are running properly, and make sure there's nothing falling off, there's no holes in the truck. Those are my responsibilities. Now, as far as now, if I do notice lug nuts are missing or loose, yes, then I will bring it to the attention of the shop. So, but this is one in the heat of, they're constantly calling, and you got to keep up now. If you can't keep up, for the most part, the whole process, the whole system falls behind if you can't keep up. So my mind is geared on one thing, keeping up. And I'm pretty good at that, thanks to these workouts, of course. But now, there is a particular driver who's been there longer than everybody. He's younger than I am. I'm 64. He's probably 40 something, I think. But he's been there longer. Maybe he might be 50. I don't even know. But he got a hold to the trailer before. I had noticed there were lug nuts in the road that I traveled to get from shipping to the staging area. So I noticed there are lug nuts on the ground. I'm passing these lug nuts and I'm like, oh. Now I'm thinking those lug nuts came off of the truck I'm driving. So of course I pull over real quick and I start to examine my lug nuts, and all my lug nuts are tight on mine. So now I gotta think, man, I brought up about 4 trailers because these are recent. These lug nuts have been just sitting out there recently because I take that route around the block every single day, and I would say hundreds of times that I go around that block. And this is that time I noticed these lug nuts. There's a couple here, a little further up, there's a couple there. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to go and examine the trailers that I brought to the door. And the ones I had at the door, they all were fine. All their lug nuts were tight. So the last one that I had took down there before I started to notice these lug nuts was the one. So I decided to pick up the lug nuts as I rolled past them, pick them up, and then take it down there and then start to examine the ones that I hadn't staged in the staging area. So of course the drivers have to do their inspection. All right, this one driver, the guy who's been there the longest, does his, he's already started the inspection before I got back. I had lug nuts in hand, so I hop out the truck, and I'm looking at the truck, and I see him talking to our supervisor, and he's looking pretty frustrated and upset. So I'm like, I think, dang nabbit, I hope he didn't grab the one. So I look and see what they're talking about. Lug nuts are missing. He's upset because he had to do his inspection anyway. I doubt if he would even left the lot with it that way, but he's upset that it happened. So when I come to meet those two, he's upset to a point. He didn't want to hear a word I had to say, and he threw his hands up and walked past me. I said, when I got out the truck, I was like, oh man, I was just trying to find this truck before anybody got a hand to, started to hook up to it. So he's like, he walked past me, right? And that made me feel some type of way. I'm like, you upset with me? This is how I'm feeling now. Okay, so I talked to the supervisor. I said, out of all people, it had to be him to find that trailer first. If I was just a little quicker, I probably would have got back there and found it and then notified everybody about that trailer. All right. But it didn't happen that way. He found it first. Now he's upset. But when he threw his hands up like that when I came to talk to him, now it made me feel some type of way. I'm like, don't get like that with me because it ain't my fault. I'm not the one who changed those tires. You know what I mean? All right. So anyway, he's upset. This happened a couple weeks ago. Now we haven't spoke since because he called me over to what did he call me over to the truck for? Oh, it was another incident where we load soap, all kind of soap, hands sanitizer, hand softener, all that kind of stuff, chemicals, some of them. So there's a leakage coming out of one of the trailers. This is the same guy that found the truck the other week that had lug nuts missing. All right, so now the other day he sees that there's a leak. So that means somebody punctured something inside and it's leaking through all the way out to the ground. And that we cannot take because it was a hazardous load. So he's calling me over. Now I'm the switcher. I ain't no supervisor. I ain't nobody's boss. I can't call no shots. But he called me over. He's pointing. Look at this. Going like this. Look. So I'm looking. I was like, yeah. I said, he said, oh man, this is bad right here. I'm like, yeah, it is. So I got those guys on the phone. I mean, on the radio, and I took the truck back up there. Okay. So now the next day, same number truck, but they took off. Now let me explain what cross docking is if you don't know. Cross docking is when you take a trailer that's loaded to the dock and there's an empty trailer next to it. So you take everything out of the full truck and put it into the empty one so you don't use that particular damaged truck that get tagged and get worked on. Instead of cross docking, they took everything off that trailer and put everything back on it. They found the leak, took the leak off, put everything back on it. So now that same trailer is back down there in the staging area the next day. But there's still some leakage coming through. Mind you, this stuff has been leaking for over 24 hours before we found it, or he found it. And when they took it back up there to change it out, they didn't wash anything off. It was just the bad stuff was taken off and the good stuff was put in. So that means whatever had already leaked on the floor and through the wood and down the frame of the truck onto the ground is still leaking through. Not that there's still a puncture inside the material. There is now just the residual stuff just coming off. So the next day he says, yo man, I thought they fixed it. And I'm like, yeah, what they told me was they took everything off, found the problem, and put everything back on the same truck. He said, well, it's still leaking. I'm like, I see that there's some leakage, not as much as it was over there, but yeah, some. He said, man, this is ridiculous, man. Would you take something like this? I'm like, well, if they told me that they took care of the problem, this could just simply be the residual stuff that was leaking through all that time. He said, man, it's the same number truck. It's the same thing, and it's still leaking. He said, man, come on, man. I'm like, look, bro. I said, listen, if you got a problem with this right here, you either do one or two things. You either gonna down the truck again, or and you're not gonna take the load. You tag it out. You know what I'm saying? But don't bark at me. I'm not the guy. If you wanna have this problem fixed, you go up there to the shipping department and you talk to them. So this is what I'm telling him. Now he got me a little, got me a little snappy. So I kind of snapped like that. I said, look, man, I don't give a F what you do. I don't really cuss, so I cussed that day, and that's about the only thing I feel guilty about that I cussed. So I said, I don't give a F what you do, bro. You can go ahead and, you do what you want. And I threw my hands up and walked off. Got back in my truck and went back to work. So, and from that point on, this was last week now. From that point on, now the brother, we don't speak because, we don't have some words or we don't speak. All right. I'm cool with that part. But when it comes to when I bring the trailer down to the storage staged area, some of the guys will pull up and I hand them the paperwork through the window. We've been doing that for years. But this particular guy, you know, he still pulls up. I gave him the paperwork. But now he figures like this, being that I snapped at him, he's not going to open the empties when he bring empties back. And every truck driver open their doors and park the trailer so we'll know what's empty and what's not. So now he mad at me. So he refused to open the doors. He's the only one so far out of about 5 drivers. Refused to open the doors. So I'm like this. I ain't gonna sweat it. You don't wanna open the doors? I'll get out and open the doors. You know what I mean? Now, I'm thinking like this. I'm being nice by not barking at him about that. So I figure like this. I hope he know now because of the little situation that he created by not opening them doors. To don't pull up when I come and drop something for staging and I have paperwork in my hand. Don't pull up with your hand out thinking I'm going to hand you the paperwork. Even though I may have to do a little more, get out the truck and take it in the office and drop it in the box. That would save a trip for me. But see, I'm built tough anyway. I don't mind work. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing but a workout for me. Now, I don't know what it is for him. I think he getting back at me because he ain't gonna open the doors now. So I'm like, all right. So in my mind, I'm saying to myself, now I know this brother should know that not to come over and have his hand out for no paperwork because now you done started this little thing about not opening the doors. Okay. You think you're making it hard on me. All right, cool. But now he pulls up again. And I'm saying to myself, I know he's smarter. He's smarter to know not to pull up here and expect me to just hand him the paperwork after he refused to open these doors. And he did it I waited until he did about 7, 8 trailers he brought back. Refused to open the doors on any one of them. But everybody else is doing so. And he's been doing that for years. But he's the only one now, because he's mad at me, refused to open the doors. He think he hurt me. So I'm like, okay. So, and then now, here he comes. Here he comes pulling up with his hand out for the paperwork. And we don't speak now as it is. So I seen him coming. I turned and unhooked the hose and the lights, sat back down in the seat and drove off. Went to the office. I got out, took the paperwork and dropped them in the box, passed him on the way out, and he mumbling under his breath. I don't care, but if you want to act like that, that's fine. This is what it feels like, bro. But okay. So now it changes my whole perspective of this dude, this person. I had a lot of respect for him when I first got there because, he's a brother, black guy. We had some things we still have things in common, but he took this approach on dealing with a situation between us. And I look at it like, we may bump heads a few times on the job because we work together and, things like that will happen. He reminds me of a man who complains about everything, and then I was really getting kind of tired of hearing it. Sometimes when you try to respect somebody because of their position, and not that he's nobody's boss, but he's been there the longest. You want to give him respect. Black guy, got some things going on, you know what I'm saying? Positive things. And you really want to just give respect to him. And that's what I was doing until he started acting the way he did. Now that changed my whole concept of man, of this particular man. And now I'm feeling like, why am I being so nice? And he get the opportunity to act like a B, but I'm supposed to take that and be like, you know, oh, no problem, man. You know, everything's cool, brother. Right? That's what I was supposed to do. That's what he thought I would do. Because he only saw the nice side of me. I never shown my angry or upset side. I wasn't even angry with this when this happened. I got annoyed, but I wasn't like angry, like, you know, when you angry, you want to fight. I wasn't to that level. You know what I mean? I was just like, all right, you know, words, we put the words back and forth, bam, that's it, it's over. Now in my book, work as usual now, but it wasn't work as usual. Now he's starting to act like a beer. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? He's starting to act like that. And that, to me, his respect was here. Now it dropped down here with me. So now I'm kind of not caring about what he thinks. So if I walk past and I don't speak, or if I walk and I'm handing everybody else the paperwork and he's the only one I will not hand the paperwork to because he refused to open them doors, when he start closing them doors back the way he used to is when I'm going to start giving him a little bit more respect. But from here on, I ain't got, he get to complaining about stuff. I'm like, man, there you go again, crying like a biatch. And I'm going to say the word. I probably won't cuss in front of y'all, but I'll say the word because, and I'll say it loud enough that he can overhear it. You know what I mean? And that's just how I feel about him. You know what I mean? I lost respect for the man. You know, if you're going to treat me like that, and you know I'm a nice guy, but you still going to try to act like that with me, like you want to have a problem with me, all right, then you got a problem with me. Then we got a problem. But, you know, that's as far as it's going is this little attitude thing. It ain't going into no physical stuff. You know what I mean? Because look, I ain't going to get into that part. I'm going to just simply say the physical ain't going to be in his favor. Simple as that. But now this here little back and forth with the little, I ain't gonna open the door. Okay, I ain't gonna hand you the paperwork. Okay, we can do that. If that's what you want, we'll do that. You know, but all that other stuff, forget about that. Don't even try to go that route, bro. You know what I mean? So, hey, is what it is. And we proud people. He's a proud man. I'm proud as well. But I'm proud enough to also say, I'm not gonna let somebody just step all on me and expect me not to speak up for myself. And I think for some reason they thought that was my personality because I was a nice person. Always try to greet people nice, always don't cuss, you know, just try to be a nice guy, hard worker, all that. But then if you take that for weakness, then that's going to be a big mistake on your end because there's certain buttons that can be pushed in every human being that if you push it at the right day, at the right time, all that, then you're gonna get exactly what you didn't think you would get. Mm-hmm. So I would say simple this: respect people. If you have a problem with somebody on your job, let it just be for that moment, and then after that, work as usual. Go right back to work. You really don't have to take it any further. That's it. But don't take people because they're nice to be soft. That's where you'll probably get the surprise of your life. You know what I'm saying? You get the surprise of your life if you mistakenly push people who are nice. You don't know the other side of that individual. You know? So I don't push people. I try not to anyway, unless they push me first. Alexa, pause. If they push me first, then, you know, I'm built like I got love in me. I can be a lover, and I definitely have to be a fighter. It's a must that I'm a fighter in this life. This boxing business, I had got into boxing because of bullying. People had bullied me when I was young. And I got into boxing. And after I had got into boxing, I haven't had anybody ever bully me at all. And the ones who tried, who didn't know who well, a lot of people don't know me, but I'm just saying, they didn't know what I was about. But they found out. And I was on the right side of the law when they had to find out. Because I let it go to a point where they put hands on me first. And that's all it took. If you push me, or you call yourself hitting me or whatever, because I got some stories to tell you about that. I got pushed one time, I got punched, and the punch was like this. It felt like this. That's how it felt. But it was the whole concept of, dude, just punch me. And now, because this is what happens to me sometimes. When I'm about to get into a physical confrontation with somebody, I don't know. I'm trying to make a decision in my head. Is this that moment I gotta fight? Because now I'm like, I don't want to start fighting, and it wasn't called for. So I don't want to just start scrapping with somebody, and it really wasn't called for, So it was an incident where a guy had punched me, truck driver. He was about a little bit taller than me, white guy in Wisconsin or somewhere in Wisconsin or Michigan. I was in Michigan. Yep. And we got into it. And he called himself striking me first. Because we was F you, oh. And he just felt like he just wanted to go ahead and just clock me, And he did it. And when he hit me, it was like, oh. Now I'm saying, I don't believe I'm about to fight. In my mind, I don't believe I'm about to start fighting. So he grabbed me by my jacket and held his right hand back. You know how the hockey players do? They grab you and then they start wailing on you. That's what he thought was going to happen. But when I seen him draw his hand back and he was holding my jacket like that, I just started firing off all kind of shots on him. And I was like, and he wouldn't let go. His hand was like wrapped into my jacket. And I paused after about 6 good strikes. And I told him, I said, if you don't get your hand off me, man, I promise you, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to try my best to knock you out. And those were my words. So he let go, And of course, he called the police. And by then, I had already left the parking lot. I left the parking lot and got to my next delivery. And police had called my company. And my company called me, asking me, did I have a problem? So when the police came, he said, well, the police are looking for you. I'm like, I'm at my second location. He said, well, stay there because the Michigan police want to talk to you. I said, all right. So police officer, he didn't even know it was me. I don't know how, they didn't give a description of my truck or nothing, but when I seen him searching the property. So I stepped out of the truck and I flagged him down because I knew he was looking for me. So he comes over, he gets out and he says, hey there, we greet each other with respect. And he says, he said, did you have any problems at your last stop? I'm like, I didn't have any problems, not me per se. He said, well, there's a guy back there that says that he had a fight with you. And I'm like, it wasn't really a fight, To me, it was a beat down. That's exactly what I told the police. He says, really? He says, well, what happened? I said, well, he punched me in my face while we was yapping at each other, and he punched me. And he grabbed my jacket, and he was going to do it again. So before he did it again, I started punching him. I said, I had my gloves on now. He said, let me see the gloves. So I showed him my work gloves that I had on when I struck this guy. And he was like, okay. He said, well, he's filing charges. I said, well, if he's filing charges, then I'm going to file charges. It's going to be a countersuit on his thing because he hit me first. If he had not put his hands on me, it would have never happened. And the officer got my info, got his info, passed me his info. And he said, well, you're going to get a phone. We're going to do an investigation. We're going to look at the cameras. And then we'll tell you when you have to come back to court. Come to court. I was like, that's fine, you know. And but at the same time, I was supposed to be waiting on them to tell me, you know, court date, time, and all that place, and none of it came. So I called them. I called the Michigan police, and I asked them about the situation on that particular property that day, on that particular date. And they was like, well, the fella didn't want to press charges. He said, well, do you want to continue? I said, look, if he's dropping his charges, I'll drop the charges. I'm not going to file, you know. But if he's trying to sue me, I'm going to sue him, you know, because you know, because I know what they saw on the camera. They saw that guy strike me first. So whatever I gave him, he deserved 100. So I was just like trying to determine, when should I really scrap? Because I train like this all the time. I do this stuff all the time. Even when that happened, I used to stop at the truck stops, get my weights, go out and jog around the parking lots. I used to always stay kind of ready. So when that happened, it was no thing for me to actually just turn on the light and just go. You know, he thought it was going to be a cakewalk, but it wasn't. So on that note, fam, it is what it is, ain't it? These things are going to happen in life, and we have to try to discern the best avenue to take, you know. And in that case, it wasn't the best avenue to take, but he put his hands on me first. It's always a price to pay for putting your hands on somebody first, right? All right, fam. I ain't give y'all a great workout tonight. Tomorrow I'll make it up. I'm going to come to you guys first. I know I said that yesterday, didn't I? But I promise I'm going to come to you guys first so you can get a better workout. Because today's workout wasn't the greatest. You know, I had already burnt out on Big O. So tomorrow I'll come here first, and then I'll save Big O for last. So check me out tomorrow. All right? One love, fam. Peace. All right. Now let me see how this. Oh, here's DX over here. All right. Peace.